Welcome to Isn't It Obvious, where things are obvious. That's going to be the intro.
Hey, welcome to Isn't It Obvious with Phil and Micah and me, your host, Sarah. I have a question. Isn't it obvious that the myths we tell our children, like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy, those are harmful? And perpetuating those lies are basically lazy parenting at best, damaging at worst.
Wow.
Phil, as the parent, would you like the first rebuttal?
I would say that, would you consider manipulation lazy parenting? I mean, this is
That's skillful parenting.
Right.
But...
No, I mean, the idea is that you want to, I just say manipulate, but that's really what it is.
It is.
You're going to be a good child because the sky monster is watching after you. Or
but you're basing your manipulation on lies.
But the problem I have is that, one of the funny parts about childhood memory is that they're not old enough to realize what's going on. As in, they're not old enough to actually record memory, but they're learning and they're understanding how things kind of work. But if you ask a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, what did you do last year? They might have a vague idea. You ask a 5-year-old, what did they remember from their first year birthday party? I would be impressed if they could remember. You ask a 20-year-old, hey, remember what you did in your 3rd year party? To be don't have memories that go before 5 or something.
But there's an argument to be made that birthday parties for the infant to toddler range is more for the parents than it is for the kid.
Well, yes, absolutely, except for the alcohol is not as readily available, but...
I don't know what birthday parties you're going to.
The idea is, I've been thinking about this.
I don't know what birthday parties you're going to.
Fun ones.
Okay.
Where...
with children.
Booze just flows freely, and...
Yeah.
This is...
Legos in a 6-pack, and boom, there's the day.
Right, actually,
fair
enough.
Pretty
good. Yeah, this sounds pretty good.
Awesome.
No, the whole idea of, I'm going to count to 5, and you're going to do this. And if you don't, there's going to be consequences. But you don't even have to say that part now. You just say, I'm going to count to 5. And then they're 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then they actually, oh, no. And they hurry up at the last second, of course. Mm-hmm. And then one of the shower thoughts of well, geez, no one ever knows what happens when you count to 5 because they never call the bluff until a certain age. And I'm oh, no. They called that bluff many times. They just don't remember it because they just don't record that memory at that young age.
Memory of that, of cursing as a youth. And 3 curses, you get soap in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing outside of a room that my brother closed after some argument about something I don't remember because I was 5, and yelling, "You asshole!" And then, arm grabbed, dragged into the bathroom, soap in mouth.
Wow.
Didn't swear for a very long time.
Well, 5 is a good age to have...
Yeah, it's in that memory range.
It's in that memory range.
But it's also... It's the amorphous consequence of actions that has fabled return. No parent, even if their kid is bad, is ever going to give them coal. But... Did you receive coal?
Not me personally.
I have a story about this. I'm sure the editor will love it.
I have a lot of asshole uncles, right? And, assholes raise other assholes. And one of my younger cousins was being an asshole and got coal for Christmas.
That's hilarious.
I mean, that's solid.
That's pretty good.
if you're going to go with the Santa Claus or the hypothetical gift giver myth in order to impose some morality or some sense of control, which is if you're good, Santa will give you good things, so the reward at the end of it. If you're bad, you should have the consequences.
I mean, agreed, but I still think it's lazy parenting. How about there be, real life consequences for real life behaviors based on real life things?
But
you did a bad thing, so you get this. Not if you do this bad thing, this other person who doesn't exist is going to come.
How do you explain
give you coal?
a holiday with 500 years of history in it to a 6-year-old?
You don't. You just leave it out. How about you just not?
What if you're of a religious family?
Well, okay, that's religion, and I have my thoughts on that. But
Saint Nicholas.
Is it though?
It's a Eastern European.
Okay, but I'm talking
Eastern
Santa
Orthodox.
Claus, the American version of Santa Claus. Not, he's a saint and he's gonna,
You're talking about the Coca-Cola version?
Yeah, I'm talking about
the capitalism version.
The capitalism version that has...
like the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, well, that too. That's another...
Although, I think the Tooth Fairy is just a means of getting over the fear as a child of losing something. At, 6, 7, you start losing your teeth? 8, 9? A range where you still don't understand your place in the world.
Yeah.
start physically losing things that you were just getting used to.
The idea here is that you're creating a set of incentives for them to enact your wishes in perhaps kind of skeevy and manipulative way, but it just makes a lot of sense because they're just too young to understand anything like that's concrete. Like, oh, well, you have actions, you have consequences, and you have privileges, and they'll be taken away if you don't follow suit. Versus Santa Claus is watching, right? Like, that's
also
a lot.
horrifyingly creepy. Can I just say?
But that's not when you're a kid.
Right,
I don't
as
know.
a kid, you just don't...
Maybe I was a weird kid, but I never believed, ever.
Did you watch a lot of Law and Order and you're like, no, an old man with a white beard
I think
looking
I was
in
just
on a kid is
born-
wrong?
No, I think I was just born skeptical. But the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus never really... And I don't know if that was just because my parents were terrible at explaining it, or if I just wasn't buying... They weren't persuasive enough. But yeah, I never, ever bought it. There were gifts from Santa Claus under the tree, and I went along with the, oh, you gotta leave out cookies and milk for Santa Claus. And I'm like, okay, you know, just out of politeness as a child, out of politeness.
Maybe they're teaching you how to be gracious and polite for things that are obviously lies.
Can we just do that though, like without the whole lie of this mysterious make-believe person?
I'm gonna go with my original argument that the kid isn't gonna remember it as a lie or as a ruse as a tactic.
I did.
Well-
I have a lot of bitterness here. I don't know if you can tell.
Well, I think there is a valid argument in posing a lie of Santa Claus so you act good in order to get this monetary reward once a year. The understanding when you realize it's all a lie, and then you're like, well, no, it's kind of better that I'm just a reasonable person
Or you could
without
just be
monetary
raised
gain.
or you could just be raised as a reasonable person and have your parents tell you, normal things that exist and are real, and you can base your life in that. You don't have to worry about adults telling you lies for the rest of your life. Although, well, okay,
Yeah, no,
wait,
that's
no,
very valid.
Just-
No, it is.
You really question authority at
I
that
think-
point.
Right.
I think that's a good. No, that's okay. Solid. Okay. I
also-
see.
to get
You're
to-
training your child.
It's a very subversive way to train your child to question authority.
Okay. No, that's solid. All right,
Masked
so
in Amazing Legos when you're 8 years
I
old.
still think you don't need to do it that way, but
No,
But no, fair
we're
enough.
Americans. We're
That-
bad parents.
and we have bad people in power. So yeah, there is that.
There's also that nice lesson that you know that your kid understands that Santa Claus isn't real, right? But then an uncle or someone else can come in and say something like, oh, you're getting ready for Santa Claus? Like, are you being a good boy or a good girl? And then...
You can bald-faced lie to them and go, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you are playing the script. You understand that your role as a child is to just continue this flow of conversation, to be kind of, oh yeah, the other kids don't know this yet, and now I'm in on the line to perpetuate this. And that's classic corporate training.
Fair enough. The
It
script.
is, but there's also, much like the birthdays of a newborn to toddler is more for the parents than it is for the kid. My father, in my small hometown, will go around and be Santa to the family that's in town.
Wow.
So there'll be
That
a
liar.
2-hour evening.
Wow.
Or 2 hours on Christmas Eve where he's just gone, comes in with a garbage bag, or not a garbage bag, it's a red bag, but poorly made. But he'll come in and ho, 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 and got the jingles, and the look on the kids' faces, their parents talk about that for half a year.
Right. Wow.
And it's more for the parents to see the happiness and that imagination and that surprise on the kid's face than it is that the kids will actually think at some point that
You want to know how to instill...
I gotta be good. So
You want to know
Santa
how to
will bring me
instill
something.
imagination in children? Don't buy them toys. Stop buying them toys. Force them to go outside and play. Force them to make their own dang game.
I don't like this because as a parent it requires me to do work, right? Like this is
No, it doesn't.
no.
Just tell them to go outside and play with sticks.
You can't-
They will make up their own games. I promise you.
But there are better toys to that, and I will go back to Legos because Legos,
Legos
are amazing.
Are amazing.
yeah, they're also
Fair
expensive.
enough.
They
They
are.
are.
They're silly expensive.
I mean, just
I wish I had more.
Yeah.
I have a lot of bitterness about Legos. My brother, his godmother and godfather, one year they bought a Harry Potter Lego set, the whole castle set.
Wow.
I think it was, I don't know how much money it was, but
Right.
those aren't cheap, right?
licensed Lego. Oof.
Licensed Legos, Harry Potter. When Harry Potter was super big.
Right.
I mean, it's still kind
And
of...
he was a Lord of the Rings fan at the time.
Nope. He didn't... I don't think he didn't even read books. But, oh my God, you cannot believe the jealousy. God.
That's where you swoop in as the older sister and be like, I'll help you do this in my room and you can't touch them.
He was a good brother and he did share. But, oh man, there was a lot of
That's the
bitterness
other thing
involved with that.
makes me kind of laugh is about Santa's gifts. If they still believe in Santa, it's like, oh, you've been really good to me, but, here's your wooden
Here's
horse.
a Hot Wheel.
Right.
Hey,
And
I like
it's-
Hot
One
Wheels.
Hot Wheel?
Hot Wheels
like
were-
a 4-pack?
Hot Wheels are great. What are you talking about?
But I mean, the idea is that you're good, but then you're, his friend that was naughty all year clearly has
But,
a Lego set.
I
of
feel there's
Star Wars,
also...
right?
Yeah, you get the...
It's a
You're like, you
strange
see
message.
your spoiled friends who get these fancy toys.
Right,
and you're just
right.
like, oh, come on. I know they weren't that good all year.
Right.
Santa clearly can't be real.
Santa is
But
capitalist.
At what point is it like a parent's responsibility to wean the kid off of Santa? Where, in a hypothetical, when they're young, more Santa presents to keep that mystery going, and then as they get older, less and less Santa things, more and more from the parents. Is there a type of progression of being accepting of gifts from others that starts with this random person that can instill some morality, but then it's more changing that you're more accepting and more humble when you receive gifts from others? Is that not a process of specifically the Santa? I mean, not dealing with like Tooth Fairy or Easter Bunny.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
Not good.
that's real weird. I don't know how that became a religious thing.
It wasn't. It was...
Yeah, I know. Like, how capitalism was like, we need to make money on a thing. Easter! What are we going to do? A bunny! What does it do? Shit's chocolate?
Yes!
Yes.
Jelly beans.
What do we need? We definitely need, like, a spring Halloween.
Baskets.
Yeah,
the
right,
egg industry.
right.
Let's get in on this.
No, I was thinking about how we don't really care about the other side of teaching kids to give gifts to others, right? Like, even this day, my parents would be like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm a grown man. Like,
Stop buying me things.
I have kids on my own. Like, if you're going to give gifts, just give it
The kids,
to kids.
mm-hmm.
And make sure that it, I have this huge laundry list of, like, what it can't be. And they're like, wow, like, you just made this magical experience into a really deep chore. And I'm like...
Gift giving is a chore.
And I'm like...
It is
God.
real horrific.
And then I have to,
Sorry,
like,
that's not our love
respond
languages.
back to be like, well, what do you want, And they're like, oh, well, we just have too much junk. We got to get rid of it. We got to downsize. So it's like this kind of weird, neither of us really want anything because anything we would have wanted, we would have just purchased on our own. And I don't really feel comfortable accepting anything very large. Oh, here's a new KitchenAid mixer. It's like, why are you doing that?
Why did
Like,
you spend $400
right, you just,
on...
that's just odd. Mm-hmm. And then again, the other part is like, oh, well, you have a hobby, Legos, here's some Mega Blocks. Like, they always get you the wrong thing for your hobby.
I was
It's
about
like,
to say I would take that, but then you said Mega Bloks.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
like, nah.
Wait, you like Legos? Here's Connects. Like,
yeah, it's like
so close, but so far.
So it's like you don't, and then this culture of ours, it's like it's not proper to give cash. Mm-hmm. So
Which is lame. I'd rather give cash.
Yeah, but then it's like in
I'd
gift
rather-
cards, so you're forced to go to one place.
Nope,
and you're like,
I
that's
never.
So much
I
worse.
Yeah.
hate gift cards. It is worse. I would rather just give them like bills. Have some $20 bills.
but
it's
it's
like-
not.
You can take it anywhere.
Every December, I fear the call
Go
from
buy
my
yourself
mother,
something nice.
where it's like, "What do you want for Christmas this year?" I'm like, "Nothing, nothing, nothing. Socks, more socks.
More sauce.
Something I don't want to buy, but that's useful."
Right.
Okay,
Also,
but what
thank
do you
your-
want?
Thank your
Yeah.
wife for me.
I don't
She just gave me a bunch of socks.
The thing. How about the pots and pans? Sure, I'll always use pot and pans.
But those
Yeah.
are expensive.
No.
Like one, like a good one.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
reasonable.
like one solid 10-inch.
I was gonna say the sets, like the
Oh yeah,
sets are
they're
pretty cool.
silly expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want any of that, and not that I'm rolling in money or anything like that. But it's like I don't want gifts
yeah,
anymore.
it feels unbalanced.
Yeah, and nothing I can give you is any type of
Right.
reciprocity
Mm-hmm.
of what you've given me in my life.
And knowing like me, I'd give you whatever the worst thing possible. The thing that you would be like, I don't know what to do with this, or it's not like I'm not thinking about it. I think about it. It just apparently I just doesn't. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for all the gifts I tried to give you.
I mean, I think we can all say sorry, Mom.
But sorry, Mom.
Sorry,
Truth is though, she always asks for a surprise, and
Right.
I'm like, just tell me what you want so I can just get
I mean,
what
you
you
could
want.
always do that Pringle can of the
Snake.
spring snakes. That'd be a surprise.
Surprise! Your car, it's been towed.
That would have been clever.
And then at the bottom is just like a bracelet or something. That's nice.
My dad, though, he was very practical. Man after my own heart, because he would make a list, and he'd be like, just pick one or two things.
I don't know. I
Perfect,
think it's...
thank you. That makes everything easy.
It has to have the element of surprise.
They're
though.
still surprised. He gave me a list. A list of things.
It needs more variability. It needs a higher chance of getting screwed up. Like, that's the kind of idea. It's like just... You need a dangerous element that you give them a gift that's just completely inappropriate. And to be like, wow, remember that gift from 99? Like,
you're
that was
right.
real bad. No, I think that my reaction to gift giving to someone who is already, I wouldn't say like wealthy, I guess just lived longer and had income for a longer period of time, is total terrible curse to be like, oh, okay, hey dad, hey mom, you guys have been around, you guys already got everything you wanted. How should I surprise you? I guess I'll get like dog antlers for like, or reindeer antlers for your dogs. Like, this is the best I can come up with, which they love.
Dog antlers for the reindeer would be really nice, though.
They don't have reindeer. God damn it.
But they have to buy them the reindeer. How big of a surprise would that be? Well, Mom, Dad, sheep, Merry Christmas.
What are those?
Just big dog ears over the antlers.
What happened to their antlers? We gotta cut them off because of the...
It's
Oh my
Randolph.
God.
You actually can't name a reindeer Rudolph. It's copywritten.
Right. It's too
Thanks, capitalism.
expensive as a gift.
Just ruins everything.
That's just...
No. Mystery. We'll find out.
It's a surprise. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Well, and for all those who wish to be our Patreon, supporters, please...
Go to IIOFM.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Bye.